Whittward Carver, the idiot savant of Suburbia. Whittward Carver here, and today I'd like to dive into the fascinating world of cultural differences, especially how we perceive intelligence and stupidity. Let me set the stage with a real-life example. A couple of weeks ago, I was in a coffee shop. You know, one of those places where the barista asks for your name, and you contemplate giving a fake one because you can't stand the inevitable misspelling. Anyway, I was in line behind a guy who, let's just say, was having a rough day. He ordered a large coffee, and the barista, with the patience of a saint, asked, "Do you mean venti?" The guy looked at her like she'd just asked him to solve the Riemann hypothesis. Venti? What the blimey is that? I just want a large coffee. Now in America, we'd label this guy a wasteman and move on. But in the UK, this kind of ignorance can be seen as endearing. It's like we're all part of some grand experiment to see how many different ways we can confuse each other with simple requests. But it gets better. The barista, bless her heart, didn't skip a beat. She smiled and said, "Venti is just Italian for large." The guy looked at her, shook his head and muttered, "Well, why didn't you just say that? You lot are always complicating things." I couldn't help but laugh. Here, in the heart of London, we've got a guy who can't order a coffee without a cultural translator, and it's the most charming thing I've seen all week. It's like watching a toddler try to solve a Rubik's Cube. Adorable, frustrating, and utterly pointless. But let's flip the script. Imagine this same scenario in, say, New York. The barista would probably roll their eyes, mutter something about idiots, and everyone in line would start checking their watches. Because in America, we have a very different definition of stupidity. It's not about ignorance, it's about inefficiency. If you can't order a coffee in under 30 seconds, you're a liability. And that's the beauty of cultural differences. What's seen as stupid in one place can be seen as endearing in another. It's like the time I was in France and the waiter asked me if I wanted still or sparkling water. I said, "Just water." He looked at me like I'd just asked for a unicorn tear. "Monsieur, all water is the same, but some have bubbles." I nodded, feeling like the idiot savant of Suburbia, and said, "I'll take the bubbles then." So, the next time you're in a coffee shop and someone can't figure out how to order a large coffee, remember, they're not stupid, they're just culturally challenged. And isn't that what makes life interesting? The constant dance of misunderstandings and missed connections. In the end, we're all just trying to navigate this crazy world, one venti at a time, and if that means we look a little foolish from time to time, well, that's just the price of admission. After all, as they say, a fool and his coffee are soon parted. Stay curious, stay confused, and remember, every idiot is a genius in their own culture.